creatures of the night. It's your girl Tati. Let's talk about pro wrestling. I just want to say I was absolutely drained after watching SummerSlam and was just like not even feeling doing this collision review because I'm like, I don't even want to think about pro wrestling right now. Absolutely was not happy with the show, but I can say that the only match that I actually recommend to watch was Gunther versus Damian Priest. I mean, it's Gunther we're talking about. Whatever this guy does is fucking flawless. Other than that, man, they drained the fuck out of me. They really did. But luckily, Collision came on prior to SummerSlam, and I thought it was a great show. I did go to the Collision taping on Thursday and had a really great time. And for real, they've been spoiling us with like shows and matches after the shows, but this time they didn't give us any show after, which I was a little bit bummed out with because you know me, I can always use a little bit more pro wrestling. Now we did start off with our stepdaddy Christian with the patriarchy. They coming out. Christian is presenting the other two trios titles to the actual other winners of the titles. So he goes on to give to Nick Wayne first, talking about how that's his son. He loves him. He's the second best wrestler in the world after him. And he's saying nothing but great things about Nick Wayne. Nick Wayne is actually the youngest champion in AEW history. I didn't really think of that until he mentioned that. Well, congrats to Nick Wayne. Nick Wayne, his face is all red. He's blushing and happy and shit. And Christian gives him the title. Then Christian walks over to Killswitch and says nice things about Killswitch as well. And I was like, oh, okay, you see, our stepdaddy does have a heart. Then, after saying all these wonderful things about Killswitch, he goes on to say, but you didn't give birth to Nick Wayne. Then he takes the other trio's title and gives it to Mama Wayne. And I was just like, oh, hell to the nah. Absolutely insane. I knew something was coming up, but I thought it was funny that he ended up giving the title to Mama Wayne instead. Now, Killswitch ends up grabbing our stepdaddy's shoulder. He was either going to say something or do something, but then we had a little interruption from House of Black. Malachi and Brody King, they come out, and Christian is like, well, what are you two motherfuckers doing here? Y'all are the trios. You guys are a tag team, and it would be so unfair for y'all to get y'all ass whipped by the three of us when only two of you are here. But then the lights go off, and Buddy Matthews has returned, and I was just like, yes, Buddy Matthews, the honeymoon it's been over. It's been over. You should have been came back. Now we have the entire members of House of Black. We do have the patriarchy end up scattering like flies. And Nick Wayne, he goes through the crowd. Like he literally walked right past me. And then Kip Sapien came from behind and snatched him up and threw him right back over there. And the House of Black got their hands on him. And then he ends up escaping, which was pretty interesting. Now, I'm happy about this, but we also did have the Bang Bang Gang also coming out too. So now we got three trios who seems to have, their foot into this whole little storyline thing. Maybe, House of Black and Bang Bang Gang go against each other. Winner gets an opportunity to go against the patriarchy at All In, or shit, give us all three trios at All In. Either way, I think I would be cool with that.
Aw, poor Nick. Need some milk.
Up next, we do have them showing Sammy Guevara returning on Ring of Honor. They also have an interview with Dustin and the Von Erichs. While they're being interviewed, Sammy does come out and says that he wants to earn Dustin's trust and also the Von Erichs as well. And, he just wants them to trust him and he wants to be able to team up with them and be under their wing. And I was just like, all right, look. This is a 6-man tag championship, not, 8-man tag champions. I don't really know what in terms of what's going to happen with Sammy joining that group. But remember, Sammy Guevara has tried over and over again to be a babyface in terms of the company wanting him to go to that direction, but it just almost never works out because he's always trying to with Chris Jericho. So they tried the next best thing, which is Dustin Rhodes. If you can't get your ass over as a babyface with Dustin Rhodes, then baby, I don't know what's left for you to do. After that, we got a video of Chris Jericho, who is wearing a Mystico mask, and he had attacked Mystico early at one of their shows. I guess they're going to be having a match at some point. This is Chris Jericho. I can give two shits about what's going on with him. After this, we do have Mystico and Hologram teaming up, going against the Premier Athletes. And oh my gosh, I love the Premier Athletes. And am I being biased because Tony Nese is chiseled like a god? Slightly, but I do think that he, Ari Davari, and Josh Woods are super talented. I'm glad they've been getting like national TV time and not just on Ring of Honor. When they first came, they kind of made them seem like a big deal. They had all these vignettes and promos and all this stuff. But then since then, they've been taking nothing but L's, maybe a win here or there on Ring of Honor, but consistently they are always losing. This was a great team up with Mystico and Hologram. I would like to see them again as a team. They're like the ultimate babyface in terms of getting a reaction from the crowd. But let's be real, we're in Mexico. Half the damn crowd is Mexican. They're all loving these luchadors whenever they get into the ring. I would like to see more of what they'll do as a team, if that's a possibility in terms of, being a tag team of AEW. The match was okay. You guys already know Mystico. Hologram takes the win. Now, after this, we do have our girl Mariah May, who comes out to sit with the commentators and calls Tony Schiavone a bitch for calling her a bitch. This was so interesting because then Tony Storm comes out, and it seems like she's going to make her way to the ring to, I can't remember what her name is, but there's a girl in the ring who is already waiting for Tony to come out. Instead of Tony going straight down to the ring, she makes a beeline to the commentator booth, and she goes over to start fighting Mariah May. And I was just like, oh, I love that on-site type of beef. I love it. When you're there live, you can't really see things that are not like in the ring or on the ramp. Wherever the hell the commentators were at, we couldn't really see anything. They did end up start showing, what was going on the big screen, but that had already happened. And it's like we missed the first few things from it, and then they showed us what happened. We do have our boy, Christopher Daniels, who popped up, who is like the general manager or whatever the situation is. He's just letting us know that he's still employed with the company. So he comes out there to break it up. And then Tony Storm dives onto Christopher Daniels and Mariah May from the stage. It was pretty badass. These girls are fighting. They get the useless security guards to keep the girls away from each other. And while they're keeping them away from each other, Tony Storm's opponent decides she's going to be big and bad and put her hand on our women's champion and get the match started. This is really a squash. This was really to get a moment to have Tony Storm and Mariah May, get physical with each other. And I absolutely enjoyed it. But the match itself, it ain't really worth the watch. After this, we do have Brian Cage versus Kyle Fletcher. They did set this match up for from Collision last night, and I already knew where this was going. I don't understand. They had Brian Cage beat somebody they pick up from the parking lot and try to make him look strong, I guess, and put him in a ring with Kyle Fletcher just to take the L. It wasn't a horrible match, but it was just very predictable in terms of where they were going. Kyle Fletcher, he's smaller, but he's a really great wrestler. But sometimes I just feel like, what are we doing with Brian Cage? Brian Cage is super talented. I feel like he should be in a better position than where he is right now. And it's just no shade to Kyle Fletcher because I love me some Kyle Fletcher. The crop top thing he got going on, the tattoos he got now, oh, he's looking so good. Really talented, and he's really getting a lot of reps in terms of being in the ring. However, I just him against Brian Cage just didn't seem believable to me in terms of Brian taking the L here. After the match, we do have, I have to say this. Uncle Don was out there. Uncle Don has big dick energy. I love it. I really do. This guy is super cool. I love it. After Kyle Fletcher gets on the mic talking shit about our American champion, MJF comes onto the big screen. He cut a promo on Kyle Fletcher, talking shit about him, mocking his accent, also talking shit about America, despite being the American champion. I'm telling you, MJF is just a fucking American treasure. I don't care what anyone say. He has a really big space in my heart. Now after this, we got a video package of Brian Danielson training for his match, his career versus title match at Wembley against Swerve. We also do have Jeff Jarrett, who's doing an interview with the whole gang with him, and basically saying that Swerve is the most dangerous man in AEW, and then if Brian Danielson have to go through him because they have a match on Wednesday, just to get to Swerve, just to get him ready, then he's cool with it. And I'm just like, Jeff Jarrett, we know you ain't gonna take the win. Hopefully we can get a great match out of you. Now after this, we do have Claudio Castagnoli in a trios match. This felt so fucking random against Lee Moriarty and Ishii. They actually did give a pretty good match. I'm telling you, Ishii is just like, hey, they got stuff going on in New Japan right now, and I'm just trying to stay in the ring. You got to check for me, and that's pretty much what he's been doing these past few weeks in AEW. He's going over there, and he's been giving decent matches. I did really enjoy this match, and I really felt strongly that I understand this is AEW and not necessarily Ring of Honor, that y'all gonna put Lee Moriarty in the ring. Y'all might as well have him fucking win. He just won the pure title in Ring of Honor. And I felt like it was such a really strong match for him to have beaten somebody like Wheeler Yuta, getting that title. Now y'all decide to put him on Collision. And yeah, I know it's Ishii and Claudio we're talking about, but I really felt like he should have taken the win. You being a champion and holding a title, I feel like it's really important to keep that champion aura about you going. So I felt like despite it not being a Ring of Honor show, they should have definitely kept him looking like a champion, because nobody cares if what show you're wrestling on. If you're holding a title and you're losing, whether that title's on the line or not, I don't think it helps you look strong. Still a great match that I think anybody would enjoy between the three of them. Random as fuck, though. But Claudio taking the win with a flying uppercut, which looks so fucking badass. But still, Lee Moriarty, I did think, should have gotten this win, especially since he's a champion. After this, we do have an interview with Layla Gray. She's a new flight attendant for Top Flight. And people have been saying that for the longest, that they could use a flight attendant. And Layla Gray looks so pretty. She looks so great with them. I actually really do think they fit with each other. However, they do get interrupted by the MXM collection. They're talking shit about them. And it looked like they're definitely setting up a match between the two of them. Also, I mentioned this in the Ring of Honor review that Top Flight, along with Layla Gray, they seemingly starting a storyline with the infantry and Trish Adora. So I would love to see some mixed tag action with those trios. I think that would be really, really cool. But MXM, they gave a really great match last night on Rampage against Private Party. Y'all go ahead and check it out. It was really, really great. And I'm loving the fact that they're including them on pretty much all the shows. That's great. I think they're making their mark as a tag team. Can't wait to see what they do in the future. Now, after this, we do have the ladies in action. We have Thunder Rosa versus Taya Valkyrie. Taya Valkyrie has somehow made some type of alliance with Deonna Purrazzo, and she's helped Deonna several times win against Thunder Rosa. Thunder Rosa is like, bitch, I'm sick of you putting your nose in my business, so let's have a match. They have a match, and I did think it was pretty decent. Johnny TV is ringside, being distracted with that loud-ass jacket that he's wearing to help, Taya take the win here. But she falls short, and Thunder Rosa ends up winning. Thunder Rosa, I really think, is very, very talented. And so is Taya Valkyrie. I feel like we've seen a lot of good from her, but I don't think we've seen the best of Taya Valkyrie so far in AEW. I'm hoping we can see a lot more from her. After Taya takes the L here, Thunder Rosa gets on the mic and she's calling out Diana Perrazzo to bring her ass out. Diana comes out. They are talking trash back and forth. And Diana's like, bitch, didn't I beat you 3 times? Why the fuck are you still calling me out? They end up making I think it was Thunder Rosa who challenged her to a Texas bull rope match for next week Collision. So it's going to be interesting to see what ends up happening with that. I think Thunder Rosa is definitely taking the next win. Main event time, we have Darby Allin teaming up with FTR and Pasa Briscoe. They're going against the Undisputed Kingdom and Beast Mortos. From the very beginning, you already know who is going to take the win. But I still think it was a really fun match. Everybody was really, really working in this match, so I did enjoy this. Beast Mortos, oh my gosh, like every time I see this guy, I'm just like blown away, and I'm just like, he gotta be big. Like Tony Khan, you signed him already? Like he is absolutely amazing. Now, every time I've been to these shows these past few weeks, everybody is cheering for the good guys, and I'm going on overtime, stretching out my vocal cords for the heels. But this time, I kept seeing like everybody was cheering for Mortos throughout the ring. I mean, throughout the match, and every time one of his teammates would go tag someone from the team, they're cheering for Mortos, and then when they don't choose him, tag him in, then they start booing. And I'm just like, oh, y'all love him too. Great, he's awesome. Tony Khan, sign him. Very predictable though, but I did think though that I just would love to see the heels taking a little bit more wins. I think that would be a good thing. Mortos did pin, I want to say, was it Mark Briscoe the other day? So I guess they do got something in terms of a W here or there. But man, every time I see the Undisputed Kingdom, I'm looking at them, I'm like, these motherfuckers, they work really hard. They're on Ring of Honor, they're on AEW, and they're taking a lot of L's too. And sometimes that just doesn't fly with me. Darby Allin, holy shit, ends up taking the win after a coffin drop. But I'll tell you this, everybody from Darby's team end up hitting their finisher onto Matt Taven to take the win. But it was Darby's little coffin drop that obviously sealed the deal somehow. And they end up taking the win. Dax grabs the mic, and every time Dax gets the mic, I'm always worried that we're going to be here all motherfucking night. And long story short, he's talking about how they're the heart and soul of AEW. And, whatever. I guess the whole fucking AEW revolves around them. And then here comes Daddy Ass and the Acclaimed, who obviously disagree with what they were saying. Max Caster, oh my mother. Max Caster came out there and said, how are y'all the heart and soul of AEW? Where were y'all doing blood and guts when we were fighting for the company? Where were y'all when we were over there being the soldiers of AEW, leading our team to victory? And I'm just like, what the fuck are you talking about? Anthony Bowens, he did a little something in that match, but Max Caster ain't do a damn thing in that match. But you're the one who's doing all the talking about how y'all did something. I could not believe it. Either way, this is pretty much of a heel turn for them. Obviously, having something to say against the golden children of AEW, which is FTR. And both of these teams have their eyes set on the AEW tag titles, and they both won it. It took Pasa Briscoe to keep them from fighting. Y'all know how it is with Mark Briscoe keeping the peace over there in AEW. Without him, the company probably would be in shambles. It was interesting way to end off the show. And, Daddy Ass and them, they refused to shake hands with FTR when FTR extended their hands, and they ended up leaving. I think this was a good show. I'm curious to see where things lead off to for the All In pay-per-view. We are just 3 weeks away, I want to say, maybe even 4. I'm not good at math, but we could talk about wrestling all day. That I can give you. And I'm just interested to see what happens. I personally would love to see them use 4 teams somehow at All In. Why not just put all those teams together in the ring to get a shot at the tag championships, since those bitches are never on the line? But we'll end up seeing what ends up happening with that. Still a good episode. And if you've never gone to an AEW show, I definitely recommend it. You will have a great time. Guys, thanks so much for watching my review. I'll be back on Wednesday for Dynamite. Bye.
The greatest tag teams of all time. Darby Allin, you are one of the craziest men I have ever met. Mark Briscoe, you also are one of the craziest men I have ever met. Now I hope you all will sing my favorite Texas song. The stars at night are big and bright.